For the first time in history, pension benefits provided to differently abled prematurely retired war heroes under the directive of the President. President instructs for an appropriate mechanism to provide rice to the public at subsidized rates. Prime Minister awarded an honorary doctorate at Deakin University. Many spheres call for the fraud behind the Google Loon project to be exposed. V.K. Sasikala found guilty of corruption by the Indian Supreme Court. Verdict ends her run for Chief Minister. Sri Lankan visually impaired cricket team arrives in the island after setting a world record.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shreyan Silva.
And I'm Aishwarya Pinto. Let's start off with a look at your stories in detail. President Maithripala Sirisena presided over the event to present a service pension to differently abled war heroes who prematurely retired before completing a service period of 12 years.
This service pension will be granted to 2,261 Triforce personnel and 136 police officers. To mark the occasion, 150 persons were presented with the service pension at the President's office. Differently abled war heroes who volunteered to retire before their due retirement day were not entitled to pension benefits that was provided to the differently abled war heroes who completed 12 years in service till today, and no one drew their attention to this issue for over 8 years, during which requests were made to grant the service pension. The provision of a service pension with a service period less than 12 years does not come under the Armed Force Pension and Gratuities Codes. However, following the requests that were made, the President drew special attention towards the matter. After obtaining cabinet approval, for the first time in history, a service pension was awarded to these war heroes. State Minister of Defence Ruwan Wijewardena, Secretary to the Ministry of Law and Order Jagat P. Vijayveera, Chief of Defence Staff Air Chief Marshal Kolita Gunatilaka, Commander of the Sri Lanka Army Lieutenant General Krishantha De Silva, Commander of the Sri Lanka Air Force Air Marshal Kapila Jayampathi and other senior ranks were present at the event.
Meanwhile, civil society organizations in Sri Lanka point out that the verdict issued by the Indian Supreme Court is the perfect example to show that those who commit fraud and corruption cannot run away from the law.
We are hopeful that the courts will take stern action against politicians who abuse their power and misappropriate public wealth. The biggest service the courts can do to this nation is to ensure that verdicts being delivered against such corrupt politicians include that they not hold public office ever again. This is the only way to ensure the development of this nation.
I think this is an illness that has plagued the entire Asian continent. The rogues live among the people. Wherever the big rogues are, there is a group of smaller rogues to follow them. When they stole, their whole families stole. And when punishments were meted out, verdicts were issued against individual members of the families. However, none of them went to jail. Rather, they were admitted to the prison's hospital. What can we learn from this historic verdict issued by the Indian Supreme Court? I think corrupt and fraudulent politicians in Sri Lanka can learn a lesson from the verdict issued today by the Indian Supreme Court.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was awarded an honorary doctorate from the Deakin University in Australia.
The Prime Minister was awarded the honorary doctorate in law at a graduation ceremony at Deakin University in Geelong today. The honorary doctorate was conferred on Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe by the Vice-Chancellor of the Deakin University, Professor John Stanhope. The doctorate was conferred upon the Premier for his services as a parliamentarian, minister and Prime Minister, as well as his long-term contributions to the fields of economy, education and human rights. Speaking at the ceremony, Prime Minister Wickremesinghe had said that the secret to life is not being disheartened when one fails, rather it is to keep trying every time one fails until one reaches success. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe also met with the Governor of the State of Victoria, Linda Dessau, at her official residence today.
Expressed at a media briefing convened by the joint opposition in Colombo today.
It is amazing what is happening in the country today. Despite when the Prime Minister was told by Cabinet Ministers Champika Ranawaka and Rajitha Seenaratne not to appoint Arjuna Mahendan as the Central Bank Governor, he went ahead and appointed him as the Governor, saying he would personally take responsibility for it. His son-in-law's company carried out transactions through the Treasury bond transaction and increased his company's wealth by over 26 billion rupees. In the meantime, Mahendan has also misused funds during overseas tours. Not only is there no action being taken against this man, when the central bank is trying to take some sort of action, even the CID cannot examine this matter. So this former central bank governor is so powerful that he goes against anyone. Not even the ministers in the government can do anything. There is a massive influence even at media institutions. By the looks of this situation, it could even lead to violence. The people writing these and speaking about this are likely to disappear. The smugglers who deal with millions and billions are fighting case after case against politicians, the parliament, customs and the CID.
දේශපාලනඥයන්ට පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට රේගුවට CID එකට ඔක්කොමට විරුද්ධව නඩු දාගෙන යනවා. බඳුම් කර සිද්ධිය
There is reason to doubt the current status of the bond issue in relation to Sri Lankan Airlines and the Mihin Lanka, that Perpetual Treasuries is trying to take over these institutions through various other firms. There is also the massive scam which is in place under the guise of the establishment of a Volkswagen plant in Kuliapitiya. The tax payable per year for the case in Vagavatta Horana is 100 rupees. The faith on the judiciary regarding the coal tender has become a deciding factor today.
The case filed by the Attorney General against the distribution of 600 million rupees worth silk cloth, allegedly at the expense of the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission during the run-up to the presidential election, was taken up before the Colombo High Court today.
Speaking in court today, former Director-General of the TRC, Anusha Palpita, said that he directed TRC funds of 600 million rupees to the account of the Presidential Secretariat for the distribution of 773,000 packets of cloth, which was each 5 meters in length during 2014. Lalit Virutunga, the second defendant in the case providing evidence to court, said that he was instructed by then President Mahinda Rajapaksa to give priority for the silk cloth project from the 1,000 million rupees which was allocated from the 2014 budget under the inaugural President's Special Development Program. Former Secretary to the President Lalit Virutunga informed court that he was bound to follow the instructions handed down by the President while serving as a Secretary to the President. The recording of evidence in the case was postponed for tomorrow.
The Information and Communication Technology Agency of Sri Lanka has been thrust into the spotlight of late on allegations of mismanagement. Today, Chairman of the AntiCorruption Front, Venerable Ulapane Sumangathero, Secretary of the Unity Through Power Devolution Movement, Azad Sali, and Chairman of the SLFP Youth Front, Shant Bandara, commented on this.
Last year, ICTA had obtained approval for 53 projects, but they have failed to successfully complete even a single one. Questions have also been raised over the funds provided by the Bill Gates Foundation. Therefore, it is the responsibility of the government to inquire as to whether those appointed to these institutions are doing their required tasks. The President, the Prime Minister and the Subject Minister must immediately probe into these officials and their activities. The people were told that the Google Loon project will provide internet facilities, but this project has been a complete failure. There is an attempt to hive off invaluable broadband spectrum to a single company under the guise of this Loon project.
A serious doubt has arisen over Muhundan Kanage, the CEO of the Information and Communication Technology Agency, who is heading this project. Who is protecting these persons by brushing aside the instructions that have been given by the President himself? Who has given them the power to engage in such acts by going beyond the law? Whose powers are they using to operate in this manner? These are serious issues before us. The Anti-Corruption Front has directed facts to the Ministry of Telecommunication and Digital Infrastructure with regard to this matter. We have requested them to provide us with the information we need. Based on that, we will resort to legal action in the interest of the people in the future.
Google Loom.
What were they trying to achieve through Google Loon? Was it an attempt to provide Wi-Fi facilities? Was it an attempt to obtain information on the frequencies? Or was it an initiative of a private business? We have received information that an enterprise called the Rama Corporations is working on this. We are requesting the TRC to provide a clear report on this and ensure that the institutions and the general public have a clear understanding on this matter. Newsfirst also contacted Kingsley Fernando, the Director-General of the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka, and asked him if any spectrum has been allocated for the project in question. Mr. Fernando confirmed to Newsfirst that no such spectrum allocation has been made as yet. Meanwhile, this is what the Secretary of the Unity Through Power Devolution Movement, Azad Sali, had to say earlier today.
Rama company
The Rama Corporation is now dealing with the ICTA. They launched a Google balloon citing that it was a test flight, but that crashed. What is it that they tried to do with this balloon? They attempted to manage all frequencies in the country. This is in fact a big business. When you inquire about the shares, the government does not even have a stake of 25% in this. Mohandan Kanage is the CEO of ICTA. It will launch the balloon and take over the spectrum. Then, be it Rupavahini, ITN or anyone, they all will have to go behind them requesting for the spectrum. They might even be able to block the broadband spectrum. Of course, we need technology to move forward. However, we cannot allow anyone to loot the resources of this country under the guise of technological advances. We all fought for good governance in the country to put a stop to fraud, corruption and waste, and to create a just society. This is our promise to the people.
Secretary to the Ministry of Parliamentary Reforms and Mass Media Nimal Bopage says certain factions are attempting to meet the objective of their personal agendas by using the provisions of the Right to Information Act.
A workshop organised by the Sri Lanka Press Council titled Regulating Mass Media and Its Possibilities was held today under the auspices of the Secretary to the Ministry of Parliamentary Reforms and Mass Media, Nimal Bopage. A group including journalists from state and private-owned media institutions and university students were present for the event.
Many have received a document to their hands which says that views are being obtained to draft an independent media regulatory mechanism. It says that the Director-General of Government Information has signed this document in place of the Secretary. The thing is, I am the Secretary and I am not aware of such a thing. So when one of us takes a particular stand on these useful reforms, a particular group from the non-governmental organizations also come and stand in that place. So they take on the journey faster than us and change its entire course. This is the threat that we are facing now. We proudly say that we are ranked third in terms of right to information in the world and first in Asia. I say this with pride, but look on the other side. Go to Monaragala, Ampara, Trincomalee and Vaunia and see. During one instance we saw, when the Act was passed on the 3rd, requests started coming in for information on the President's wealth and the Prime Minister's wealth on the 5th. Then it makes you wonder if there is a different agenda behind this.
President Maithripala Sirisena emphasised the need for an appropriate mechanism to be implemented promptly in order to provide rice to the public at subsidiary rates.
The President made these remarks during a meeting with the rice mill owners and the rice importers held at the Presidential Secretariat today. The President further said that the tax reliefs given when importing rice into the country should be given to the public at their maximum level. President Sirisena also directed the authorities to take action to maintain 100,000 metric tons of rice in government stores to be used at any required time. The President also directed officials to declare maximum prices for local and imported rice.
Reports of a new variety of paddy where the harvest can be kept in storage for a longer period of time have surfaced from Kepetipula.
The new variety of paddy is being cultivated in the premises of the Kepetipula Somalanda Pirivena in the Nuwara district. According to Venerable Modope Kusalyana Teru from the Pirivena, this variety of paddy can be cultivated on land and requires water only once a week.
It's a kind of hill rice. The speciality in this is that it does not contain the rice husk. It resembles a clear difference from the paddy plant. If you take it as a bush, it is similar to a maize plant. It does not require fertilizer. A small quantity of natural fertilizer is sufficient with water only added for once a week.
20 such plants have been cultured in the premises of the Pirivena. Venerable Modope Kusalyana Teru affirms that it is requisite to introduce a proper program to promote this new variety of paddy.
Certain officials from the Ministry of Agriculture had said to be prepared to use croton leaves and jack leaves in the event of a food crisis. I think they must introduce these types of varieties before making such statements. This new variety is not available in the market.
The Rice Research and Development Institute in Bathalagoda says that it has conducted research on this variety of paddy. It adds that this is in fact not a paddy variety by a plant that goes by the scientific name of Choga Margaret Shiram.
The student, who was ranked first in the advanced level arts stream in 2015 from the Polonnaru district, has lost the opportunity of entering university.
PG Dilki Rasanjali sat for her advanced level examination in 2015 in the arts stream. Dilki, who sat for the examination for the Sinhala Buddhist civilization and art subjects, passed with 2 A's and 1 B. According to the results issued by the Department of Examinations, Dilki scored 1.630 on her Z score. Though she submitted an application for university entrance, she did not receive the opportunity to pursue her studies in university.
I was number 1 in my district. By that, I did the best I could do for my school. Even though I became the first in the district, I still have not got a university I could enter into. I was hopeful of entering university, but now it has been over a year and I cannot apply again through the school.
Dilki's parents pawned the only land they possess for the expense of their daughter's educational activities. However, Dilki's parents now watch in despair today as they lose ownership of their land.
It was only after we visited the University Grants Commission did we learn that my daughter had sat for different subjects. Even the school was not aware of this situation. My daughter is helpless now because she does not have a university to enter. We make a request from the President and the Minister of Higher Education to provide a fair solution to her problem.
Students should thoroughly read the comprehensive handbook issued by the University Grants Commission on the respective courses before filling their university application. Including the course which you can apply for in the application and marking the most preferred course by order is extremely important, because if the student applies for only a few courses and he or she does not possess the required marks for the cut-off marks for the course, the student will not be granted entrance. The University Grants Commission will never grant university entrance for students who do not apply for a course.
Let's now take a look at the details of several protests which were staged across the country today.
A demonstration was staged by residents today demanding that the Ambalipitia-Morakati road, which has not been renovated for nearly 40 years, be repaired. The demonstrators marched up to the Morakati bridge and staged their protest while obstructing the Ambalipitia-Morakati road. Our correspondent said that vehicular movement along this road was hampered for close to 9 hours as a result of the demonstration. Thereafter, United National Party organizer for Kolonna and Sabaragamu Provincial Councillor P. Abenayaka arrived at the location of the protest. According to our correspondent, the demonstration had not concluded even as of this evening. A protest was staged at the Ampegamu junction today. The protest was staged in objection to the excavation of soil and quarrying in the Gulana mountain range, which is causing the water springs to dry up. Vehicular movement along the Alpitia Gol and Baddegama Ambalangoda roads were disrupted for nearly 3 hours as a result of the protest.
This Gulana mountain provides water to close to 300 to 400 households. This mountain is the resource for Ampegama. Immediately stop this quarrying. If it does not stop, we will take much stricter measures.
An official of the Divisional Secretariat responded to the location of the protest, where he read out a letter addressed by the Divisional Secretary.
Measures will be taken to temporarily ban this act until the matter is directed to the District Coordinating Committee and a decision is provided.
Thereafter, the official visited the quarry, which is at the centre of the issue. Though our correspondent faced obstructions from the owners of the quarry to enter the premises, an opportunity was later granted to record footage of the location.
We are not doing anything by force. Everything is done in a legal manner. We have obtained the permits from all the relevant institutions. We are not doing anything illegal. The problem these people have is the fact that we are coming from another village and doing this business. If that is the case, tell these people to pay us the value of this business and take this over. Locals here are staging a massive protest demanding that the quarry be stopped. So we have informed the relevant parties via fax to temporarily halt this quarry while we receive a decision from the Galle District Coordinating Committee meeting. We will get a decision.
And finally, in your local news, a Lithuanian has been arrested at the Bandaranaike International Airport for attempting to smuggle cocaine worth 30 million rupees into the country. Police said that 2 Nigerians who arrived at the airport to collect the drugs were also arrested. Investigations have revealed that this drug ring is taking place across Brazil, Lithuania, India, Nigeria and Sri Lanka. The police said that the Narcotic Bureau is interrogating the suspects on detention orders. The Sri Lankan team that took part in the T20 Cricket World Cup for the blind arrived in the island this morning. Following the conclusion of the tournament, Sri Lanka placed 3rd in the rankings in cricket for the visually impaired, which captain Chandana Deshapriya notes as a resounding victory for the team.
India defeated Pakistan by 9 wickets to lift the T20 World Cup for Blind title on Sunday in Bangalore. Sri Lanka, who made it to the semi-finals, were defeated by India by 10 wickets. Sri Lankan Suranga Sampath was adjudged the man of the series in the B3 category for his 5 centuries in the tournament, which was incidentally a world record in the game.
And that's a wrap of the Primetime News tonight. I'm Aisha Pinto.
And I'm Shane Silva. Take care and good night.